Once upon a time, beneath the shimmering waves of a vast ocean, there lived a curious little mermaid named Aria. But what if I told you that her story wasn't just about singing and swimming? What if there were secrets hidden in the depths that could change everything? Get ready to dive into a tale of magic, mystery, and unexpected twists that will leave you wondering what really happens under the sea. In a kingdom far beneath the ocean's surface, where colorful coral reefs stretched as far as the eye could see and schools of fish danced in the currents, lived King Triton and his 7 daughters. Among them was Aria, the youngest and most adventurous of all. With her flowing red hair and sparkling blue tail, she was a sight to behold. But it wasn't her beauty that set her apart. It was her insatiable curiosity about the world above the waves. Every day, Aria would swim to the surface, watching the ships sail by and dreaming of what life must be like on land. She collected trinkets and treasures that had fallen from passing vessels, filling her secret grotto with reminders of the world she longed to explore. Her father, King Triton, had forbidden any contact with humans, believing them to be dangerous creatures. But Aria couldn't help but wonder if there was more to the story. One stormy night, as lightning crackled across the sky and waves crashed against the rocks, Aria spotted a ship in distress. Without hesitation, she swam towards it, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. As she drew closer, she saw a young man struggling to stay afloat amidst the wreckage. His dark hair was plastered to his forehead, and his eyes were wide with panic. In that moment, Aria made a decision that would change her life forever. She dove beneath the waves, wrapped her arms around the man's waist, and pulled him to safety on a nearby shore. As she lay him gently on the sand, she couldn't help but marvel at his strange legs and the way his chest rose and fell with each breath. She sang softly to him, her voice carrying on the wind until she heard voices approaching and knew she had to leave. But as Aria slipped back into the water, she felt a strange sensation in her tail. It was as if tiny needles were pricking her scales, sending shivers up her spine. She dismissed it as nerves and swam home, her mind filled with thoughts of the handsome human she had saved. Days passed, and Aria couldn't stop thinking about the man from the shipwreck. She found herself returning to the surface more often, hoping to catch a glimpse of him walking along the beach. Her sisters noticed her distraction and teased her mercilessly, but Aria paid them no mind. She was too caught up in her dreams of what could be. It was during one of these visits to the surface that Aria met the sea witch. The old crone lived in a dark cave at the edge of the kingdom, surrounded by writhing tentacles and glowing potions. Aria had always been warned to stay away, but her desire to be part of the human world was too strong to ignore. "I know what you want, child," the sea witch cackled, her eyes glowing with an eerie light. "You wish to walk on land, to be with your human prince. But are you willing to pay the price?" Aria hesitated for a moment, but her heart had already made up her mind. "Yes," she whispered. "I'll do anything." The sea witch grinned, revealing rows of sharp, yellow teeth. "Very well. I'll give you legs, but in exchange, you must give me your voice. And there is one more thing. Every step you take on land will feel like walking on sharp knives. Are you still willing to make the trade?" Aria nodded, her determination unwavering. The sea witch handed her a glowing potion and instructed her to drink it when her tail touched the shore. With trembling hands, Aria took the vial and swam towards the beach where she had first seen the prince. As the sun began to set, casting golden light across the waves, Aria pulled herself onto the sand. She took a deep breath, uncorked the vial, and drank the potion in one gulp. The pain was immediate and intense, like fire spreading through her veins. She watched in amazement as her tail split into 2 legs, her scales melting away to reveal smooth, pale skin. But the transformation came at a cost. When Arya tried to call out in joy, no sound escaped her lips. Her beautiful voice was gone, trapped in a shell that now hung around the sea witch's neck. And as she took her first steps on her new legs, she felt the sharp, stabbing pain the witch had warned her about. Despite the challenges, Arya was determined to make the most of her chance at a human life. She made her way to the prince's castle, where she was taken in as a mute servant girl. Every day, she watched the prince from afar, her heart aching with love and the pain of her silent existence. The prince was kind to Arya, treating her with a gentleness that made her fall even deeper in love. But he didn't recognize her as the girl who had saved him from the shipwreck. Instead, he was searching for the mysterious voice he had heard on the beach that fateful night, Arya's voice, now lost to the sea. As days turned into weeks, Arya's time on land began to take its toll. The constant pain in her feet made it difficult to dance and walk, and her inability to speak left her feeling isolated and alone. She longed to tell the prince who she really was, to explain why she had given up everything for a chance to be with him. But without her voice, she could only watch as he grew closer to a princess from a neighboring kingdom, a girl with a voice remarkably similar to the one he remembered from the beach. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky blazed with colors, Arya stood at the edge of a cliff overlooking the sea. She could hear the faint echoes of her sister's voices carried on the wind, warning her of the danger she was in. The sea witch's magic was fading, and soon Arya would turn back into a mermaid, but this time she would dissolve into sea foam, lost forever to the waves. Tears streamed down Arya's face as she realized the true cost of her decision. She had given up her home, her family, and her voice for a chance at love, only to watch it slip away. As she contemplated her fate, she felt a gentle hand on her shoulder. It was the prince, his eyes filled with concern. "I've been blind," he said softly. "All this time, I've been searching for a voice when the girl I truly care for has been right in front of me. I don't need to hear you speak to know how you feel. Your actions, your kindness, they speak louder than any words ever could." In that moment, something magical happened. The shell around the sea witch's neck shattered, releasing Arya's voice. It floated through the air, carried by the sea breeze, and returned to its rightful owner. As Arya's melodious voice filled the air once more, the prince's eyes widened in recognition. "It was you?" he whispered in awe. "You're the one who saved me." Arya nodded, tears of joy replacing those of sorrow. She told him everything about her life under the sea, her bargain with the sea witch, and the sacrifices she had made. The prince listened in amazement, his heart swelling with love and admiration for the brave little mermaid who had risked everything for him. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared beneath the waves, Arya felt a tingling sensation in her legs. But instead of dissolving into sea foam, she found herself surrounded by a soft, golden light. King Triton appeared before them, his trident glowing with power. "My daughter," he said, his voice filled with both sadness and pride. "You have shown great courage and love. While I cannot undo the magic of the sea witch, I can offer you a choice. You may return to the sea as a mermaid, or remain human with the prince you love. But know that whichever path you choose, you can never go back." Arya looked from her father to the prince, torn between two worlds she loved. In the end, she chose to remain human, knowing that her heart truly belonged on land. With a wave of his trident, King Triton blessed their union and granted Arya the ability to visit her family beneath the waves whenever she wished. And so, the little mermaid who had once dreamed of life beyond the sea found her happily ever after. She and the prince were married in a grand ceremony that united the land and sea, with merfolk and humans alike celebrating their love. Arya never forgot her origins, often sitting by the shore and singing to her sisters in the waves. Her voice, once lost but now restored, became a symbol of the bridge between two worlds. As for the sea witch, her powers were greatly diminished by the loss of Arya's voice. She retreated to the darkest depths of the ocean, never to be seen again. And Arya, she lived a life filled with love, adventure, and the joy of belonging to both land and sea. So, dear children, as you drift off to sleep tonight, remember the tale of the Little Mermaid. It's a story of courage, sacrifice, and the power of true love. But most importantly, it's a reminder that sometimes the greatest adventures begin when we dare to follow our hearts, even if it means swimming against the tide.